Welcome to Talking Clean, the podcast where we will break down clean energy and healthy living into simple, everyday habits that can save you money and protect our community. I'm your host, Dr. Mary House, and I want to share with you why this is so important to me. Being raised in a poor neighborhood in Detroit, where resources and information about creating a healthier and cleaner place to live, it was not a conversation. We were just concentrating on surviving, just like some of you. So as I became an adult, my curiosity began to explore the many concerns of why things weren't like they should be. So in this journey, I began to find out what was not happening in underserved communities of color all across America as it pertains to this topic. And I discovered we just weren't exposed to nor given the resources and information needed to create a healthier and cleaner home. Now, fast forward, I knew I had to be a voice crying in the wilderness for people who looked like me. And out of this cry, this podcast was birthed. And together, we're going to explore practical tips, local resources, and inspiring stories that empower our families and communities to live cleaner, greener, and healthier lives. So whether you're looking to cut down your utility bills or make a difference in your neighborhood, you are in the right place. This is episode 9, and I am here today with Julia Hubbard from Solar United Neighbors. And today we're going to talk about how to read your utility bill, solar energy, and accountability. And Julia, I'm so glad to have you here today. This is so good to see you. You know, we're on Zoom calls all the time, and so when you get to see somebody live, it just makes it more personable. But can you tell us about Solar United Neighbors? Just give us some background on that first.
Absolutely, and it's great to be with you, Dr. House. So Solar United Neighbors is a national nonprofit that helps people go solar, join together, and fight for their energy rights. Fundamentally, we believe in creating a more equitable energy system that directs control and benefits back to local communities.
And you know what I'm proud to say, I could say this today, is that we completed rooftop solar on our home in December. And just in 1 month, how drastically my electric bill. And so I can't wait for summer, you know, when I have to turn on my pool, because that's when it's usually hot and the air conditioner is blasting. And I look at that utility bill and go, oh my God. And so with that being said, one of the things I really want to ask you was, let's talk about that utility bill. You know, what does that look like?
Yeah, great question. So if you're like me and others, you may have looked at your utility bill. In fact, I have my utility bill here because I think it's a helpful reference.
Yes.
You may have looked at it and been like, where do I even start? There's a lot of numbers on this, and there are a lot of different terms, and it's confusing.
It is.
But fundamentally, your utility bill is going to be capturing how much energy you are using.
Now, I'm going to stop you there because what I've been telling the consumers, and I want you all to hear me, when I'm saying usage, y'all been hearing me say usage for these past podcasts. I need you to hear me. It's called usage. Usage is key. And so that's what I'm so glad that you're here, because people, first of all, we're not paying attention to the bill, but let's go through the bill.
Definitely. And I think maybe we could start with just some basic terminology.
Sure.
So you may have seen something called a kilowatt on your bill.
Mm-hmm.
What is a kilowatt, right? What is that? So a kilowatt is a measure of power. You may have seen your microwave or maybe even your washer or dryer, and you've seen like, 1,200 kilowatts. This is like how much energy my microwave is using. Kilowatt hours, and let me go back to that. That's the power that microwave or that washer or dryer requires to run. A kilowatt hour is the power of that appliance over time. Yes. It gets a little confusing, but let's break it down here. So you could think of a space heater requiring 1 kilowatt of power to run. And if that space heater is running for 4 hours, it's going to require 4 kilowatt hours of energy. Are you following us here?
I'm following.
Okay.
I'm on point with you right now.
So your usage is measured in kilowatt hours. All right. So let's talk about your bill. So if you do have your bill with you, you'll notice on the right-hand side of your bill, you'll see an account summary. And this is really a snapshot of your billing information. It will even show a graph of what your average energy usage has been over the month by day. And then you're also going to have details like the meter number, as well as your customer number. This is all important information in case you need to give NV Energy a call.
Now let me stop there. I want you all to comment. I want you to comment below and tell me, have you learned something already about your bill? First of all, have you looked at your bill, right? So this particular podcast is saying, pull out that bill or go online and pull up your statement of that bill and start following. I want you to pause the podcast and then pull up that bill and then come back to the podcast and walk through what Julia's telling you. Then it'll even make more sense to you because, there's this saying that says, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. And when if you don't have the knowledge, that's why you were overcharged and didn't even know you were overcharged. Come on. So let's take a summary.
100%. So your utility, which if you're in Las Vegas or even if you're up in Reno, your utility is billing you for the energy that you consume. That's that kilowatt hour.
Right.
So if you jump down to the charge details, you're going to see that first line item is electric consumption, and that is in kilowatt hours. This is how much energy you are using throughout the month. And for me, just to give you all an example, my last billing was for 303 kilowatt hours. And that was what I was charged for. So that's a really good question.
Yeah.
I wonder what your usage was. This is a time to take a look at that.
Okay. Look at it again in the comments. After you get your bill and you pull it up, go online to NV Energy and pull up your bill and start following along because now now you've got the power back. I think what consumers felt even with this whole overcharging was they lost power with the utility companies because they were, I don't even know how to read it. And so that's why it's so important that I'm doing these podcasts for us because we're not understanding and we're feeling very violated when it comes to this whole NV Energy thing and what to do. And Julia, I just want to say this is why it was so important to have you because Julia, she the GOAT when it comes to this doggone utility bill and how to break it down. She's the GOAT. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I just need you to understand, we're having a conversation. So I want you to stop also, pause this podcast, call all the family in and say, what, we need to watch this. Mothers and seniors, get your young people over, get your grandchildren over, bring them in, and let's have a watch. Let's have a watch with this podcast. So let's go on with this bill. I'm so enjoying this information.
So good, Dr. House. So your usage, as well as the basic service charge, which is another line item on your bill, and that basic service charge is a fixed fee. It's essentially covering any of the power lines, meters, even like NV Energy's customer service. That is what that basic service charge is covering. So that, in addition to your usage, that's going to be the bulk of your bill. Like for me, that was 90% of my bill was between that basic service charge and my electric usage. But then there's a whole other slew of other charges that you'll see. They're smaller.
They're acting like Allegiant Airlines. Okay,
Yeah.
If y'all ever charge, you know what? You know, if you ever been on Allegiant, you know I'm telling you when you have conversation, they charge you for every little thing, right? It's like a la carte, a la carte, a la carte. Come on, just give me one flat rate and let's call it a day. So then that's all of those charges starts adding up, and if you go to your bills and you go back a whole year and you total that up, all of that a la carte stuff, that's money we really don't have. So let's go there on that a la carte.
Yeah. So these are fees that have been, and they're rates that have been approved by either the PUCN, so that's the Public Utility Commission of Nevada, or the legislature. And so you're going to see everything from the universal energy charge, which is actually supporting our low-income customers. And this is something that you could look into. NV Energy does offer some bill assistance. You do have to sign up for it in the fall, and it's a very small program, and you have to be income qualified.
Right,
so it's not exactly what we want.
Right.
We would love to see that program much larger and really supporting everyone who needs it. But there are also other charges on there. So there is everything from paying for the Natural Disaster Protection Plan, which is essentially NV Energy's insurance against wildfire.
Exactly. Okay, wildflowers, right? Wildfires.
Wildfires.
When do we have wildfires here? How often have we had a wildfire in Las Vegas or in Nevada?
Yeah, it's up north in Rio. They're definitely more prevalent than down here in Vegas.
Come on. So Vegas, really, Southern Nevada shouldn't even be getting charged for that to me, but that's another story. That's a legislative thing. But we're going to talk about a call to action, so I want you all to stay tuned. Don't be cutting me off, because this ain't something that you like, it's not juicy, but it is juicy. It's juicy because it's affecting your pocketbook, okay? Let's finish talking about that.
Yeah, so this is why, like, all of these charges that are showing up in your bill, these have been approved and passed by the legislature or programs being administered by NV Energy and reviewed by the Public Utility Commission of Nevada. So these things are happening, and it's part of the reason why we need people to get involved.
Absolutely.
And
look in there and tell them what they need to do. What do they need to do?
You can take control over your energy bill, first of all, just by understanding it better, right? And really thinking, like, what is my usage? And maybe there's even an opportunity to reduce your usage. You're like, wow, like, I didn't realize I had, my microwave on for so long. Like, maybe I don't need to use that. Or, to contact your legislature and the Public Utility Commission by showing up at the next consumer session and saying, these rates are too high. They're unaffordable. And we really need to be advocating for this and making sure that utility bills, which our energy, right, the AC is on, that's a basic need in the heat of the summer in Las Vegas. And people shouldn't be having to make difficult decisions between paying for their medication, paying for food, or paying their utility bill.
Right. And I think that's a call to action. Again, comment. Tell me your concerns. I want to go back to this podcast, and I want to read those comments. And we really want to hear, what's your concerns when it comes to the electric bill? How can I better even serve you through CH&R with assisting with you with the information you need to get your utility bills lower? I want you all to just stay in tune. I want you to make sure you subscribe. I want to make sure that you tell a neighbor and tell a friend. And because we're going to be doing more and more things, and when we do in-person things, especially in Southern Nevada, which is where we're located, you can come in person, and we're going to have resources and information. I've got things coming up, so I definitely want you to stay in touch and bring your family and your friends. Okay. So you know what? I do want you to continue with the bill. I want to finish up, and then we're going to just talk a little bit about solar. Okay.
Yeah, so really, when you can think of the bill, this is a helpful candy analogy that I think will hopefully resonate with folks. You can think of your bill like a candy report card. So it shows when the candy counting started and ended. That's that usage, what your usage was from last month to this month. And then the meter number is like a name tag on your candy jar so that the company knows that the jar is yours. That's your specific
and
meter.
You don't want eating all that candy out that candy jar.
And then, right, you can look at the candy jar and see how much candy you ate this month and compare that to last month. So, right, that's your usage this month versus last month, and how much candy you made or used, and that's really kind of a simplification of the bill with electric usage.
So you're telling me when my mom used to say, "Girl, turn that light out when you leave that room," y'all know what I'm talking about? Baby, you know what? You know what? You ain't paying these bills. You know what? Money ain't on trees. And so my mom used to say, turn the light out, or watch how long, you're running that hot water. Girl, you gonna run all the hot water out. You know what I'm saying? You're using things. And so you all know this is what we hear in our homes. And when you're children, you're like, what mama talking about? But when you get grown and you get a bill, it makes a whole lot of sense. I need you all to tell me. I want you to comment some of the phrases that you grew up on that relates to energy usage that you probably never thought it really related to energy usage, but it did. And so I want to make sure you do that. But, before I let you go, Julia, one of the things, you're Solar United Neighbors, is can you give us some benefits of what solar does for people? And hear me, I understand everybody necessarily can't afford solar. They do have leasing programs. We'll talk about a call to action where we're looking to get community solar, where different like churches or recreation centers that are already in your neighborhood, if they got rooftop solar, you benefit from that. And anyhow, that's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother podcast. We'll talk about it another day. But tell us about the benefits of solar, because I am such an advocate of solar.
And we are so grateful for that at your house. So if you have your own solar system, that means you are generating your own energy that you don't have to buy from your utility.
Now let me stop. Solar, let me break it down. Can I break it down? Right? Solar is simply saying what God so wonderfully created is powering your own house from solar panels. You just have to put the panels on. God gives you the sun freely. All right? Am I correct?
Right.
And so when you get that sun and it's generating, my God, and your usage is like, you're responsible for your own thing. I think my husband said, you're telling me, this is what he said, you're telling me that the sun is going to power our whole house. Something that God created is going to power our whole. I said,
amen.
Yes. So tell us a little bit why it's really important. And because I'm very practical. And so, do you have solar? Put that in the comments. Do you even know about solar? Put that in the comments. And Julia's
and
getting
if
ready
you have
to tell you.
questions
And if you
solar,
got questions about solar, and I'll have Julia back on and we'll answer your questions. How about that? So go ahead. Julia, this is gonna be so good. I see a part 2 coming.
I love it.
Just on solar, right? So let's talk about solar.
Yeah, so when the sun is shining, your panels are generating electricity.
That's
so
so
that
amazing
sun
to
is
me.
hitting the panels and you are producing your own electricity. And that means you're not having to purchase that electricity from the utility. Then when your panels maybe are producing more than what you are consuming, that means you've got extra And that extra
Come on.
shows up as credits on your bill.
It shows up as
we love, right?
Come on now.
And those credits you can apply to your evening consumption when the sun is not shining.
Mm-hmm.
And that can make a whole heck of a difference,
Yes.
right? Because
Yes.
I know that when I get home and it's night, maybe that's when I'm doing a lot of my usage, right? That's when I'm cooking.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm listening to some music. That's when I'm going to throw a load in.
Mm-hmm.
The laundry.
TV is running.
TV is running.
Wait. How many of them said, girl, turn that TV off? You burning up my electric bill. Turn it off. You know, because that's when we use it because we're home. Go
Absolutely.
ahead. Usage.
Yep.
Yes.
And so those credits then get to apply to that usage.
Wow.
And then depending on if you have any excess credits at the very end of the month, those get calculated and they get applied to your bill after they've been applying to your evening usage. So this is a great thing for solar customers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because their bills are going to show that.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas non-solar owners, right, we're not able to apply
Right.
that excess generation. So we really believe in solar because this is a distributed generation where
Mm-hmm.
people can also invest
Mm-hmm.
in this energy, and rather than having to pay for it from the utility, they're being able to own this.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes for a more equitable
Mm-hmm.
energy system.
And on a environmental look on it, what solar is so environmentally
Why is it so
friendly?
good?
Why is it so
Why is it so
environmentally fun? You know, why is it?
So in Nevada, we rely heavily on natural gas, which we're not producing any natural gas in Nevada.
And wait, natural gas is methane. Okay?
It's not natural.
It's not natural.
It's anything but natural.
So first of all, let's take that out. When I see the buses and they've got this sign because Southwest Gas is sponsoring it, you ran by natural gas. First of all, it's not natural. Let's talk about that. You know,
right?
now that's another
this
story.
It's a fossil fuel.
It's a fossil fuel,
and fossil fuel has impacts on our health, right? Natural gas, they burn it, and that affects our air quality and heats up our atmosphere. And we know that Las Vegas and Reno are the two fastest warming cities in the country.
Yes.
So this has big impacts. And when we are adding more solar, we are having to rely less on natural gas, especially when we start adding batteries, which can store that solar energy. And during peak times of the grid, that's essentially when we're all using energy. That helps us then tap into that battery storage. So this is really important, so we don't have blackouts, but also so we think about affordability and protecting our environment so people have clean air, and we are protecting our water and we're protecting our air. It's all
And
really
our health.
connected. And our health. Thank you. That's so important.
Yeah. And so, Julia, I want to thank you for being here today. It has been a pleasure. I always enjoy you. And every time we do something, you're here. And that just means so much to me because, again, the community has my heart. And I know we're still, a disadvantaged community and we're very much underserved. And every time I get an opportunity to help our community, it warms my heart. And so what's your call to action? I'm going to tell you, it's time for you to speak up. Submit a public comment when you hear about things that are going on there. We have the legislation that'll be back in session next year. And then we have the Public Utilities Commission that has public comments. They send out notices. I know Channel 13's Darcy, she covers it all the time. Make sure you're connected. Attend a PUCN meeting. I was just at the one last week. There was a PUCN meeting last week with the information of the decision on this overcharge, and I'll talk to you about that at another podcast, so you need to stay tuned. Contact your elected officials and know you have a voice. I think sometimes our community, we think nobody's listening because we've been so let down. You have a voice. I need you to go to that voice. And then I want to make sure that you subscribe to this channel. You share it with a friend. You share it with a neighbor and have a watch party. Every time I send out a notification that it's a new podcast loading, have a watch party. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. And this is on YouTube. So God bless you. Again, thank you, Julia
So
Hubbard
good to
from
be
United
here.
Solar United Neighbors.
You
Thank
got it. Yeah, and if you have questions, you can always visit our website too. I'm happy to walk you
What's your
through
website?
your utility bill. It's solarunitedneighbors.org.
Okay, solarunitedneighbors.org. Thank you. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Talking Clean with Dr. Mary House. Remember, every small step towards cleaner living adds up to a big difference for your home, your wallet, and our community. So if you enjoyed today's conversation, be sure to subscribe, share this episode with a friend, and connect with us online for more clean energy resources. Just remember to think green and keep talking clean.